Hello and welcome to another video of season predictions. I thought I'd just do I'm gonna do a video for every division since it's just gonna be pain in the ass, to do every team within. There's there's really like there's only like 2 to 3 weeks to do every team. It's just gonna be impossible. So so the videos will probably be half an hour because I have to talk about each team for like at least 5 minutes. It's probably gonna be 10 minutes per team. So let's get it all the way with first the Edmonton Oilers in the Pacific, and 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 obviously they have two studs with McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and an underrated stud in Nugent Hopkins. Nugent Hopkins could put up he's a damn good player that can put up goals and because he's on Edmonton. I mean, he doesn't have that much help, and he can put up points too with the Edmonton Oilers. But again, he doesn't really get the credit he does. He's a damn good like top six forward on the Oilers, and again, if his value I think could be good. Like if they were to trade him, they could get something for Nugent Hopkins because he's like, I've made some trades uncap friendly at times. I mean, really, I look at a lot of cap friendly like as of right now, and other websites to just review the rosters. But I basically know the roster without looking at stuff, but I just review because there's many signings you don't know. Everybody knows James Neal went to Edmonton because they well, first of all, Ken Holland pulling off the Lucic trade was great because now they got Neal. Neal could put up 30 goals with McDavid, but Willie, I expect him 20 goals is probably a better 20 goals is a more realistic goal. If he gets 20 goals though, it's still a good season for Neal. But if he doesn't get 50 points with McDavid, and I would think he's playing with McDavid. If he doesn't play with him, it's going to be harder for him to probably bounce back. Bounce back because he's a damn good player. He's overpaid to crap right now, but if he gets back to his game, his contract's actually pretty good. Obviously, you get a lot of players on this team that can play. I thought Chiasson last year was great. Probably won't play that good again somehow, even though he was on the Oilers. Not a very good team offensively, despite the two amazing superstar centers they actually have. Even though Draisaitl is technically a winger, because there's no depth on the Oilers, he has to play with McDavid. Hopefully, he can finally play second line center because Leon Draisaitl playing right wing on the first line, that's part of the reason his points were insane last year. Lost last year. He might not score, and I'm not saying Draisaitl won't, but he might not score 50 again. If he doesn't play with McDavid ever again, he's not going to score 50. And he is that good of a player. He can score 40 every year of his career, but 50 is going to be hard for Draisaitl to get again. But yeah, he can put up 50 again one day, but I honestly don't think he's going to get 50 next year, and scoring will probably go a bit down, not too down, but a bit down, because in the history, for scoring to go up more than, season, like, usually scoring always goes a bit down, and I think it will. I think McDavid hits 100 points again, but not Draisaitl. I think Draisaitl hits 90 again, but not 100. It's just I don't see it happening, honestly. I really don't. And Draisaitl can prove me wrong. I would love that. I would love him to get 100 points again, but it's not going to happen in my opinion. Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner is a good player too. I honestly don't know if he's on the team, but just looking through here, just looking through the roster, got good players. They really don't have that much. Their depth scoring is just it's honestly abysmal. They don't have that many guys. Half the guys, like I'm looking on here right now. I'm I'm looking on the roster right now. I barely even know half of these players that are on their depth. That's and they don't even have that much cap space. I don't think. I don't think they are in such a bad. They honestly, they are not in the like. They are not even in that good. Like if I'm McDavid, I went out if I'm McDavid. It's awful. This roster is just horrible. Everywhere on their team, I just can't even put them close to the playoffs because their roster is awful. It's just such a bad team. They don't have much at all. They really don't have much depth. 2018, 2019. Chason was the only one of the only, I guess, secondary scorers that was producing. That is a joke of an offense, in my opinion. And yet you got two superstars that are being wasted. Peter Chiarelli kind of ruined the team, but unfortunately they do not have scouts that can really scout. And for one though, they have a couple good prospects coming up. Hopefully they develop for the Edmonton Oilers. Puvalarvi situation went to crap. Hopefully next year he could be back and maybe produce with the Oilers. So basically, yeah, it's just a horrible team in Edmonton. I haven't even talked about their defense. They have some good parts on their blue line. Blue line. I will admit, Oscar. Is Oscar Klefbom elite? No. Is he a great defenseman? At times. Is he good? 100% he's a good defenseman. 100% he is a good defenseman, but he's not a great defenseman. Adam Larsson's one of the better defensive defensemen. He's a stay-at-home guy. When you think about it, it's a good trade for Edmonton. Like, it's a good trade for Edmonton getting Larsson, but they really like Hall. They got rid of Hall for Larsson. Hall for Larsson still. I don't understand how that's even a trade. A superstar franchise player for a stay-at-home defenseman. Again, it's and Larsson's one of their best defensemen. Quite honestly, he just doesn't put up that much points. And then Chris Russell. Chris Russell has one of the worst contracts in the league. I don't know why he makes $4 million. He barely even puts up that much points. He can play defense at times, but he's not that good defensively either. He's not really that good of a player. Chris Russell almost makes as much as Klefbom, which just absolutely boggles my mind how he makes that much money. I know they want to buy him out. I know no one's going to take on his abysmal contract, so that's one of the reasons why he's probably still on the team. Brandon Manning, that was a really weird trade. The guy that injured McDavid that year, a few years ago. Brandon Manning is a defenseman for the Oilers. Not a bad defenseman. Matt Benning, I guess, is decent at times. You got obviously Mikko Kostinen's not a bad goalie. Mikko Kostinen, though, the fact that Chiarelli signed him to $4.5 million a year was just, again, another abysmal contract by Chiarelli. He ruined like Kostinen. How did he ever prove he was even like, if he got $3 million, that's an overpayment. $3 million. If they gave him 2.5, that might be a bit. That might be respectable if it was a 2.5. That's still concerning if it's 2.5 because he still hasn't proved that he's truly a starter. So bad. No, that's how bad of a contract it is. I don't think I would even. I maybe would push it to a $2 million contract. Maybe because he was decent at times. So maybe $2 million's respectable. But is it really? Remember when the Canes signed Mrazek to a 1-year, 1.5 deal in 2018. 2018 free agent frenzy. Mrazek had to prove himself. He got 1.5. Koskinen played not even half a season, and he gets 4.5 million, and he's an old goalie. He's 31. 4.5. How does that even happen? I don't understand Edmonton right now. I don't understand what they do, and they have Mike Smith, but the problem is he is 37 years old. He makes a $2 million a deal contract or a year. It's just such everything in Edmonton is so bad. I can't even explain it. They're not even gonna make it. They might be a lottery team again. They look awful, man. They look awful. They do not look good. They got to fix that team. Can Yamamoto fix it in a few years? Can Bouchard fix it? Maybe. Can Ryan McLeod fix it? Maybe or one day, maybe. I'm a big fan of Ryan McLeod, but I don't know if these players can. I don't know if these players can really fix what they're doing. I don't think they're like. Hang on to three. There's ton like. There's a couple like, and Proberg too. Like there's a few good prospects. Like they don't have a bad prospect pool. Like they don't have a bad prospect pool now. But will they? But will they change it? I don't know if they would change it. I really don't know if they would change it. It's just awful in Edmonton right now. I feel sad for the fans, and it's like Buffalo. Buffalo definitely has a better team on paper. Buffalo should be better than Edmonton. If Buffalo is not good either, I don't know. And that's another topic for another day, obviously. But that's another topic. It's definitely another topic for another day. Is the Edmonton Oilers. We're gonna go now. We're gonna go now to the Anaheim Ducks and talk. We're gonna talk about how so. I predict Edmonton is gonna be last. Gonna be second last. In my opinion, they're gonna be second last ahead of LA. Because LA has literally nobody on their team. They have nobody. They have a couple. They have a couple old. They have a couple old Cup winners from those 2012 and 2014 teams. So that's it. They have Doughty too and other guys. But I'm not gonna talk about them yet. I'm gonna talk about the Ducks because the Ducks they could surprise. You never know. I have them finishing one spot over Edmonton mostly because of their goalie that John Gibson is arguably the best goalie in the world, but he's still underrated. I don't know, but he's still underrated somehow he's still underrated because probably because he plays on the Anaheim Ducks. I don't think that much people watch or care or whatever about the Anaheim Ducks. But they got a couple guys. They got a lot of guys that, I'm not a big fan of the Ducks, but they got a couple guys that I really like. Getzlav's a fun guy to hate. Not a guy I really hate, but he's really good, so he's fun to hate because he's still a damn good player, but he's obviously out of his prime. He's obviously out of his prime and ridiculously overpaid, but I think that contract was a long time ago, or I mean, they bought out Corey Perry, so with no Corey Perry, will I like the Ducks more? Will I like the Ducks more? Probably. I probably will like them a bit more with Corey Perry not being in the lineup. They still have Ryan Kessler, which again I don't care about him, but good player. I don't know if he's gonna play. He might play. He might have to retire. I think there's too many injuries. So again, I don't hate him. I do wish him the best, but again, I've never been a fan of Ryan Kessler. And Jakob Silfverberg has always been a pretty good player. Makes 5.2. You could argue 5.2 is too much, but I say that's a good contract for Jakob Silfverberg. To be quite honest, back in the day, it could have been overpaid. I still thought it was a decent deal back then, but I don't even know. I think it was just recently he was signed to that, so I don't know. To that, Adam Henrique is a decent player. Adam Henrique is, he's a good player for good. He's a good player for Anaheim. He's a good player. This team, because this team, what if you compare Edmonton to Anaheim's rosters, and Anaheim's they're the much more appealing team, at least on their depth chart offensively. They have way more depth than the Edmonton by a month. They have it's easy. I can close my eyes and name these players more than Edmonton Oilers, because Edmonton just doesn't have any players on their depth than that. Anaheim, quite honestly, doesn't have bad depth. It's not that bad, and we got a lot of guys here, of course, I guess not a super young player, but ridiculously underpaid, and he can get 8 to 9. Quite honestly, when he gets a new contract in a few years up, when he's maybe 28, 29, still in his prime, and I'm talking about Rickard. Rickard Rakell's a damn good player at 26. He makes $3.7 million a year, and it's insane. So he could score 80 points. He could score you like 30 goals. Like he could. Honestly, I could even see him being a 40-goal scorer, because that Rickard Rakell is the future star for many years to come for the Anaheim Ducks, which is fantastic for them. I'm really a big fan of Rickard Rakell. They have they have some players I do really like on the Anaheim Ducks, despite me. Again, I'm not a fan of the Anaheim Ducks. I never cheer for the Anaheim Ducks, but they have pretty good depth, honestly, on their team. So their offense really shouldn't be that bad, and they got some young prospects that should. Well, by 2021, they better be there, but I think in 1920, they're going to have 2 prospects that are going to play. Comtois is definitely going to play. Comtois is going to play, and I think Steele's on the team too, so I think that's the guy in their defense. And their defense is still pretty good too. Their defense is actually damn good. Fowler's a damn good elite defenseman. Lindholm is still damn good. Josh Manson's a damn good defenseman. They lost Montour. So if they lost Montour, so less offense, but still solid blue line overall. And John Gibson and Ryan Miller. I like their goalies. I like the goalie tandem. I like their goalies. I like their goalies. I like the goalie tandem, honestly. I really like their goalies. I really like their goalies. I think they could make a surprise. They could make a surprise and make the playoffs. But I just have them missing the playoffs, because it'd be too hard for them probably to make the playoffs. So I'm gonna talk about LA. So the LA Kings, as I was saying, have a lot of old players. They have Kopitar, which should bounce back to at least 60, or how much more? I think he did. Was in the 60s. Well, he should at least hit in the 60s. I think he might hit in the 70s. If he hits in the 70s, and if Doughty can, have a 50, if some of the old guys, because Kopitar and Doughty are still the franchise players, and again, if they really want to rebuild, those guys, they've already started the rebuild technically. But those guys are guys you could definitely trade out. Doughty is just gonna be too hard to trade. Doughty is just gonna be too hard to trade, because his cap hit is $11 million a year. So any team taking on $11 million, it better be a damn good defenseman. Doughty, I think, is out of his prime. So I really don't think it's worth getting Doughty for $11 million for any teams. It's LA Kings, not that much. They decided though last year, 2019, or they decided to trade. They decided to rebuild because clearly, them trading Muzzin showed they're gonna go out and they're actually acquiring prospects, and they're gonna try to be younger, which is probably the right thing to do. A less boring team, and And that Kovalchuk signing is just, it's a night. That signing was a nightmare for the LA Kings. It was a nightmare signing for the LA Kings. And they got to trade someone. They got to trade someone. They got to trade someone. They got to make more trades. Carl Grunstrom. I think Carl there's a lot of dark horse Calder guys. Carl Grunstrom might be the dark horse that no one he might be one of my top dark horses to win the Calder. I don't think he will, but he has a good chance. He's a damn good player. He has a good physical presence, but he can really do he can do everything. He can do a lot. Carl Grunstrom, I'm a big fan of. He could win the Calder, but probably not. But again, that's why dark horse. I mean, dark horse are not expected technically to win, but he could be a guy that's he could surprise and maybe win a Calder. So, defense, man, they really. I don't think they have much at LA. LA's gonna, they do, in my opinion, they will finish worse than Edmonton, which again is amazing because I was just ranting about how bad Edmonton is. This team though is at least they're rebuilding, and they don't again their prospect pool is pretty damn good in LA. Their prospect pool is easily better than the Edmonton Oilers, which again shows LA is doing the right thing. They're rebuilding and getting prospects and getting young guys to be in the team and trading out the old players. That's how you do it, and that's what they're doing. And really not much to say about this team because they're really nothing right now. They don't have anybody really. They're screwed really. And next, I'm gonna do the Canucks. I'm gonna talk about the Canucks, and this might be the most unpredictable team to predict. I think this is the most unpredictable team, quite honestly, to predict because they don't have it's not about and they decided to acquire some players now. They decided to speed up the rebuild technically because adding I believe they traded a couple picks, but I think they actually traded out a first for JT Miller as well. JT Miller is not an amazing player. JT Miller is a decent player. So Tampa, he was on Vancouver for 20. He could hit 20 or he could give them 50 points maybe on the Canucks. That's scoring. They obviously added they signed Ferland. They signed Ferland. I think is actually a lot of people rip on Benning. And I do a lot too. Ferland, I don't hate. One thing I do hate though. One obvious contract that sucks. We know free agency can be abysmal. Free agency can cause nightmares. Louis Eriksson's still a nightmare for Vancouver. Is Tyler Myers a nightmare? Not in 3. Hell, not even in 2. By next season, is Tyler Myers a disaster for the Canucks? In my opinion, it's a disaster of a contract. He should not have got $6 million a year. Does it improve their blue line? Yes, but he's not a great defenseman. He's a decent guy, but he can make a lot of mistakes defensively. The fact that Tyler Myers was signed on July 1 and Jake Gardiner hasn't. Again, Jake Gardiner not being signed. He's a miles better defenseman than Tyler Myers, and he gets Gardner's probably looking at Tyler Myers saying, he gets $6 million, you got to give me Gardner. And honestly, Gardner definitely deserves $7 million a year if Tyler Myers gets $6 million, which is as much. I think yes, it's the contract that Louis Eriksson got a few years back. Yeah, a few years back, Louis Eriksson got the 6. He hasn't been traded yet, and it's just abysmal for Vancouver to have a Louis Eriksson guy playing this bad on the Canucks. You got you got Josh Levo, which he's playing top 6. He was playing with Besser and Pedersen thing. I mean, Besser, he was just having a good time, Besser. I mean, Besser, obviously, Besser doesn't have his contract yet, but Besser, damn good player. He's a damn good player for the Canucks. Will he get signed soon? Although holding out, obviously not a good holdout situation. You got last year, 2018, they signed. Because I remember they signed Stanley Cup champion of the Washington Capitals, Jay Beagle. Because they got Jay Beagle. Jay Beagle's a good player. He's a decent player. I understand why they got Jay Beagle. Again, not a great player, but decent. Tanner Pearson has worked out decently. I don't hate Tanner Pearson on the Canucks. Tanner Pearson's actually a decent pickup. I like that pickup by the Canucks. Bo Horvat. I mean, Brandon Sutter also. Brandon Sutter's a decent player. He can score. Brandon Sutter can't score. He can do things. So again, not a horrible player, but not a great. They could still use a better team, but prospects. They have insane prospects saying on Quinn Hughes, and again, Quinn Hughes is going to be on their blue line. So there's gonna be something, and again, I'm not gonna. I mean, the Canucks fans are definitely, they want to win or do something. Like the Canucks don't just want to say, oh well, it's the right way to rebuild. But I mean, I can give credit to Jim Benning. He knows, the fans, they want to do something. Jim Benning knows. The fans want to do something. There's a reason why he wants to get a bit better. He doesn't want to just rely on, oh well, it's the rebuild. But does he really want to do that? Not really. He really doesn't want to do that. So, but Bo Horvat should. I think he will. The captain. They should probably name him the captain right now. It should be perfect because him and captain will make them better. But it's me. But then there's in the Pacific as well. So the Arizona Coyotes. So I think the Coyotes have damn a good defense. So I think they have a really solid defense. What do I think about their offense? Decent. Keller just got signed to a contract that I think might be a steal in the future. And you could argue, there's a lot of people saying, well, it's ridiculously overpaid because he hasn't proven himself. Technically, yeah. Is it a neat? It's technically a Nylander deal because not as much people are gonna, trash the Keller contract because it's not Leafs media and they're not gonna say, oh my god, because remember, and again, it's not about Nylander, but a lot of people are saying it's Nylander because Nylander 261 point seasons, a really bad season because he held out. Keller's not going to hold out, and all things. His first season, he got 65 points, and that was a really good rookie season. And then second season, he only gets 49 points. He didn't even hit 50 off everybody. And again, he was their Arizona. They really struggled at scoring goals, and Keller really needs to Keller definitely he can't not have 50 points next year. Or else if next year he doesn't even hit 60, then it will be by next year. I expect him to have a decent in the future. I really think this guy should be a 70, 80 point guy. I really think the potential for Keller is 70, 80 point guy, and yet somehow hasn't proven. It takes time for some guys to do that. He's already shown, though. He has shown that he can do magic on the ice with the Coyotes, but he hasn't done enough of that with the Coyotes, so that's why he hasn't shown. He's not even close to showing what he can do. So he's behind some of the other young players that are already showing what they can do at this level. He's not yet, which is probably disappointing for Coyote fans. It's basically only 2 seasons playing in the NHL, so it's not much bad things you can really say. 2 seasons, it hasn't really been that bad for Clayton Keller, but Again, already 8 years. Again, I like the deal, and it's not about Keller, but look, guys, Kessel. I think Kessel though definitely. Kessel hitting 30. I think he hit like he scored a lot of goals in Toronto, and arguably his best center was Tyler Bozak. So that was pretty much, it's they give he can score 20 goals in his sleep because still Castle still one of the best goal scorers in the game. So he's an overrated player. He doesn't really play defense, but I'll tell you, Kessel can score goals all the time. And what's the thing Arizona wanted? They want scoring. They want goals, and Kessel brings goals. So it's really a perfect trade. That Strom trade, well, they made a couple abysmal trades. The Domi trade turned out abysmal, but he sucked in Arizona. The Strom trade sucked, but he sucked in Arizona. Galchenyuk, I really don't. Galchenyuk could all of a sudden, like, Galchenyuk could become, like, he wasn't that bad. Galchenyuk, he played decent, and he didn't play bad, but he didn't play great. They saw they could get Kessel, like, them getting Kessel is good. They need to get Kessel. Them getting Kessel is good. Like, them getting Kessel is good. Like, I really like Arizona. I really think Arizona's gonna. They should be pretty good. I think Arizona will be pretty good. Arizona should be pretty good, in my opinion. It might make playoffs, might not. It's hard to predict if they're gonna make playoffs. So, until I think about Arizona, and then of course, you have the newest team in the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights, obviously. Here are the Vegas Golden Knights. Which have a damn good team. Top six. Maybe, you could argue, maybe the best top six in the league is on Vegas. Which you could argue. Pacioretty's overpaid, but still a good player. If he can score, 30, it's fine. It's like, if he can score 30, that'd be great for Vegas. They lost a couple pieces. Again, their cap is bad, so they lost a couple pieces, obviously. Lost Colin Miller as well. Yeah, they lost Colin Miller as well, but them losing Holla, that was a pretty bad circumstance for Vegas. Obviously, they were gonna lose a couple guys, obviously. They got a pretty good team. They really don't have that they don't have that franchise defenseman, I guess, because you could say, well, Nate Schmidt is really their franchise defenseman, but he's really not franchise top four. Definitely, I would say he's an elite top four, like one of the better top four defensemen in the league, but he's not like a franchise guy or whatever, so they don't have that much. And again, losing Colin Miller is awful for Vegas. So losing, they got guys. I mean, Fleury, they got Fleury, and they got guys that can play. They got a really good team in Vegas, and definitely make playoffs. Third, I predict third in the division. Top two. Well, the top two will be San Jose and Calgary will be the top two teams in that division, in my opinion. Because you got Stone. Like, Stone's contract is perfect for me. Stone's making a 9.5 contract for 8 years, which is a perfect deal for him. Really, I think it's an underpaid deal. I think it's an underpaid contract. So, Sharks. Sharks haven't signed Joe Thornton. Like, Joe Thornton's more surprising than not signing Marlowe at this point. So, they want to get younger though. They got Carlson for 8 years, so it's great for 8 years. Obviously, his health concern. It sounds like health concern. Can the Sharks actually, can they do it? Can the Sharks actually do it though? They got Vander Kane. I know they got Vander Kane, but they got Logan Church. I mean, they lost Pavelski, but they got Logan Couture that's still pretty good. Like Logan Couture's damn good underrated player. Timo Meyer's pretty damn good. Hurdle, obviously. Thomas Hurdle is a damn good player too. Melker Carlson's a decent depth player, and they got Kevin LeBlanc can play too. He's a really good player, and they got a lot of guys. This offense has just a lot of depth on the offense, but probably not enough. I don't think they have enough though, obviously, but damn good depth. But again, they did lose guys, but they still got a lot of guys. They can probably use someone else on the offense. This defense looks damn good. This defense, I mean, Eric Carlson's obviously their best defenseman. For Burns, you could say, well, Brent Burns is obviously their second best defenseman. Well, Brett Burns. Again, you could say, oh, Carlson's like Brett Burns, but Brett Burns is just way worse defensively than Carlson and Vlasic. I really love Vlasic. Vlasic's overpaid. But he can still play ridiculous defense, so he's a great defenseman. Brendan Dillon's damn good. Dillon is a damn good defenseman too. Overpaid. I really like him. And if Jones can have a bounce back, like he was great. He's great in the playoffs, but playoffs were mostly regular season. He sucked. He put up 80s numbers for 899. He was 899, I think so. Sharks will be second. The Sharks, in my opinion, will be second in the Pacific. So number one for me. Who's going to be number one then? For my opinion, despite losing Neil and getting Lucic, they were first in the Pacific with Neil sucking. So, they got more physical presence with Lucic. They got Sean Monahan, Johnny Gaudreau, Michael Becklin, and if Matthew Tkachuk, should he sign, or if he signs, it should be fine. They should be fine if he signs. Really, if he signs, they should be fine. And Mike Furlick's fantastic. Derek Ryan's pretty good player. Sam Bennett can play. Sam Bennett has a lot of grittiness. He's a good player. Mark Jankowski's a great player. Dylan Dubé, he could prove himself, be great. Prove himself, be great. And defense, fine. No Hanifin. I mean, such a good steal for them getting no Hanifin. Oh. Such a good steal for them getting no Hanifin. Such a good steal getting no Hanifin. Mark Gigiano is still fantastic. Because Mark Gigiano. Travis Hamonic, the first season with Calgary wasn't that good. Second season with Calgary, what was he? He was a beast out there. Travis Hamonic, he can block shots all the time. He can. I'm a big fan of when Travis Hamonic is at his best. I'm a huge fan. But when he's not, like a few seasons ago with Calgary, I thought UES was their most overrated player. But when they got that deal with Hamonic, I'm like, wow, Calgary's going to be sick. Then they missed the playoffs in 2018. But then he performs amazing in 2019 and playoffs. There you go. So all things will be different because no Mike Smith. Mike Smith was amazing in the playoffs. But who is the better regular season goalie? And if Reddick can play like the previous, if Reddick, then should be pretty good. That's my Pacific prediction. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Talk to you all later.